again, everyone, you heard that. We're recording. And here we go. So, hi, everyone. My name is Ra'anan, and I would like to show you a bit of my Israeli story, a little bit of my background, what brought me here to New Hampshire to be a Shaliach. Let me know if something here is blocking my video. Okay, it's blocking me. So, as you know, or as some of you try to pronounce, my name is Ra'anan. My middle name is Itai, and my last name is de-Haas. I know it's a complicated name. I apologize, but this is the way you spell it. You say it in English, Ra'anan. In Hebrew, you say Ra'anan. I know it's complicated. Let me just give you a little bit of background about it. So Ra'anan in Hebrew means fresh. That's the translation. Itai is my middle name. I'm named after my uncle Izzy. And my last name is de-Haas, which in Dutch, and that's where my grandparents are from, my paternal grandparents, means hair, as in like the animal, like the rabbit hair. So while I was building this presentation, I was Googling some kind of pictures to add to this. And apparently Disney did a whole show about me. So if you ever need to remember my name, just remember basically Bugs Bunny. And I know some of you are going to use this against me and call me that for a while, but I'm completely open for it. So I want to take you a bit through my childhood and give you my background of where I grew up in Israel, moving on to military service and my jobs before I came here. So in this picture, you can see me with my mom and dad. I think I was like 1 year old here. And let's dive in a bit deeper. So my family consists of me, both my parents, and my younger brother and sister. This is me. As you can see, I was the cutest baby ever and the coolest baby ever, if you can see my sunglasses here. I grew up, I'm the eldest of both my parents. Born in 1991, just turned 30 a month ago. This is, you can see this is me, my sister, and my younger brother. My sister is now 26, and my brother is 23. So they're both younger than me, living in Israel. My brother served as a tank driver in the army. If that interests anyone. A lot of stories there. And my sister was some sort of administrative work. In the middle picture here, this is my bar mitzvah picture, where you can see all of my cousins. We're a relatively small family. So this is all of the cousins together. And this is us, my family. You can see that most of our pictures together as adults are from big events. This is my bar mitzvah and my brother's bar mitzvah. It's because when I was 11, my parents separated and got divorced. So the only pictures of the five of us together are from the big family events. And I'd like to show you now my full family today, which includes, as from left to right, it's my brother, myself, my stepdad, who was born in Morocco. So that's I have a whole Moroccan step family. My mom, my sister, this is my stepbrother who lives in Virginia, and my beautiful niece, who is the most beautiful thing in the world. And I can never stop talking about her and show videos. And on the right is my dad and his wife. A little bit of background on them. So my mom, you might ask yourself, why is my English fluent and why don't I have an Israeli accent? So my mom was born in Canada and she made Aliyah. And growing up, she did not know, she didn't speak any Hebrew. So she spoke only English to me, and my dad spoke English to us in the family because that's what my mom understood. And that's why my English is fluent. My dad was born in Israel, and both his parents, my grandparents, are from the Netherlands. They're Dutch. Both are Holocaust survivors. That's it. That's the basic about my family. If you have any questions about that, I'm open for it. But that's just the basic, just so you know what's surrounding me and my immediate family. I'll give you 1 minute for questions. If no one answers, I'll keep on going. Perfect. By the way, oh, sorry, I can't see you. So just unmute yourself and ask. Yes, Bobby.
Okay. Hi. I'm Bobby Blaze. I live in Concord and I belong to the Temple Beth Jacob. And I'm curious, where in Israel does your family live?
Oh, so you're going straight to the next segment.
Oh, how about? Okay.
Yeah, so perfect, Bobby. I'll just get into that. Any other questions about my family? Anyone else?
Yeah. Do you also speak Dutch?
I don't speak Dutch. The only languages I speak are Hebrew and English. I want to work on my Spanish because I do have a lot of family in Central and South America. But my Spanish is, I have enough Spanish to get around, but not enough to actually hold a conversation. But no Dutch.
Have you been in America before, or is this your first trip?
Yes, I've been in the US. I'll talk about my travels also later, but I've been in the US many times.
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
How do you like the Moroccan food?
Oh, yes. No, my mom's cooking got like 10 times better when she met my stepdad because she learned all these Moroccan recipes. So that was amazing. That was a fun experience. Okay, let's move on. Talking a little bit about the city I grew up in. So I grew up in Rehovot, which is a relatively small city, 20 minutes south of Tel Aviv. I'll show you a short video about the city, and then I'll talk about it a bit more. Rehovot was founded in 1890 by settlers from Eastern Europe. The settlers purchased land on the southern coastal plain and established the first rural Jewish settlement, Moshava, based on agriculture. Today, Rehovot is known as the City of Science and Culture, with a population of 150,000. It is ranked first as the city with the highest quality of life in 2018. The city of Rehovot places an emphasis on education, science, and culture. Within each of these specific cultural groups, there are world-famous international and scientific institutions, such as Weizmann's Institute of Science, the Faculty of Agriculture, and other research, educational, and cultural institutes. In Rehovot, culture is a strong part of people's lives. It influences their lives, their views, their values, their hopes, their loyalties, and fears. By emphasizing culture, we can educate the younger generation to be actively involved in the betterment of their fellow citizens. Okay, so that's like a little bit of background on the city I grew up in. I say it's a relatively small city, 20 minutes south of Tel Aviv, but it is bigger than Manchester, the biggest city in New Hampshire, just to give you like a perspective of, if people tell me, how is it like living in the big city? I'm like, well, Manchester isn't that big. Just for example, Tel Aviv has over 1 million citizens right now. So Israel might be considered a small country, but compared to New Hampshire, we're huge. So this is where I'm based. I was based, Rehovot, and this is Tel Aviv. So it's about a 20-minute drive, about a 40-minute drive from Jerusalem. And you can see it's relatively close to the coast. I was like a 15-minute drive to the beach, which was always a fun place to go to. And this is where I grew up. This is the apartment. We lived on the 5th floor, so we have the 5th and the 6th floor that was ours. Beautiful neighborhood. Growing up, it was a relatively new neighborhood, so we were surrounded mainly by orange orchards and like a lot of like open fields. But as we grew up, as like the city got more urbanized, everything just became a bunch of buildings and houses surrounded us. So that was a bit of a shame, but that is my home and it will always be. Any questions about Rehovot or growing up in that city? Perfect. It's not that interesting of a city, I'll be honest. Okay, so in Israel, as you know, everyone at the age of 18 or after high school go into when I went in, it was a 3-year military service. Now it's 2 years and 8 months, I think. And it's a mandatory service. So I served in the Israeli Navy. And after serving my mandatory years, I went into officer's course and became a Navy officer. Let me show you a little bit about what I did there in the Navy. I'll give a disclaimer, because of where I was positioned, I wasn't allowed, I don't have any pictures of myself in uniform doing my job. We weren't allowed, we had our social media monitors. So all the pictures you'll see are from ceremonies where this is the picture here is from the end of my basic training with my brother and sister. And other pictures that you'll see are from other ceremonies throughout my service. Because the job itself, I wasn't able to take pictures while doing it. Let me show you a short video that explains what basic training is in the Israeli Navy. I will say that the video is in Hebrew, but it has English subtitles, so feel free to follow.
במהלך סדרת הים אנחנו חושפים את החניכים לפעילות ימית אינטנסיבית בלתי אמצעית עם הים. אנחנו מגיעים לזירות רחוקות מאוד, מה שמכריח אותנו לתת לחבר'ה האלה יכולת מסוגלות לשהייה ארוכה בים, אתגר גם פיזי וגם שכלי לא פשוט. הרוב מתבצע בים מאחורינו בהפלגה בסירות גומי. בנוסף לזה יש מסעות יבשתיים, אימוני קרב מגע, שחייה וטינוף. עברנו מסע, לרוץ בחול ולא כמו לרוץ על אספלט. עשינו עבודת צוות מגובשת ומטורפת, באמת, ובסוף נתנו עלי קרב שכל הבית ספר התעורר. זה היה רגע שבאמת שמחנו להיות צוות והתגאינו איפה שאנחנו. התרגיל הזה הוא אחד התרגילים הארוכים בסדרת הים. הדבר הזה אמור להזדמות שהייה של, יכול להיות גם שבוע בסירת הצלה. הדברים הכי מעניינים פה באמת בסדרת ים זה דבר ראשון, הסירות גומי פה מימון, כלי שייט, באמת הם מתפעלים אותו, מרגישים אותו, נוהגים בו, מה שנותן להם בעצם את ההרגשה הזאת עצמה שהם חלק מחיל הים. הדבר הזה נותן להם בעצם להתחבר ברמה האישית והאינטימית מאוד עם הצוות שהם יהיו בו בהמשך השירות. התהליך באמת החל לפני כשנה בשינוי מסלול הלוחם הימי. מה שעשינו פה, שינינו את כל התפיסה. אני מאמין שהשינוי הזה בין קורס להכשרה, בין קורס לצוות, נותן לך באמת להיות לוחם, באמת להרגיש מה זה צבא ומה אתה עושה באמת. בשאר הכשרה בוועד הם נטו לומדים דברים מקצועיים, שכל אחד בתפקיד שלו, עד שהוא יגיע לספינה עצמה. פה הם באמת מרגישים איך זה להיות בים, מקרבים אותם יותר לים עצמו, מקרבים אותם יותר לערכים שאנחנו רוצים להנחיל להם. כל הסדרה מנסה להגדיל את תחושת המסוגלות, את הבדיקה הימית, את היכולת של הלוחם שלנו, הלוחם הימי, לבוא מוכן, מחושל ונחוש לשייטת את 3.
Okay, So as I said, January 3rd, 2010, I got drafted into the Army. As you saw, part of basic training is jumping into the water 24/7. So think about January. It was, even though it's Israel, it's still very cold. So when people try to warn me about the New Hampshire cold, I've swam in freezing water in January. I'm prepared for anything. So my first position in the IDF, in the Israeli Navy, was I was an electronics technician for the Israeli Navy SEALs, the Israeli JFNH Shaliach Ra'anan. I worked on all of their underwater machinery, underwater electronics. After about a year there, I was selected to go to officers training course. And as I said, most of the pictures that I have in uniform are from ceremonies. So this is my picture from the ending ceremony of my officers training course. It's about 2.5 months experience where they teach you everything from navigating to how to lead a squadron. It's a Army-wide course, so I was there with people that aren't only in the Navy. So it was a very interesting experience to really get to know the whole Army, where not just the little bubble I was in. After finishing the officers course, I was put into a course called, or the position I was in, it was called a Naval Tactical Control Officer. It sounds a lot more than it is. The name is, though, very exciting. It's basically along the shore or the Israeli waters, there are several posts that have radars and cameras and enforce and basically guard the Israeli border. So all the way from north on the border with Lebanon, down south to the Gaza border, and in Eilat, where we have the Egypt and Jordan border. There are posts where people sit and monitor the waters. So I was the officer in charge of those, of one of those posts. The first position I had as a naval officer was in the Gaza post. This is me with, again, ceremonies. This is when my sister got drafted into the Army. I was there in uniform. And this is the base I served on. It's hard to see where it was or what it is, but it's relatively small. And if we zoom out a bit, right here, if you follow my mouse, this is the base. And this red line is the Gaza border. We were 1 kilometer or 0.6 miles away from the border. And I want to share with you one video of something that happened while I was in that base. What you see in this video are 2 Palestinian or Gazan Hamas swimmers that swam across the border. As you can see, they have guns, and they wanted to perform a terror attack. But as you can see, the minute they got out of the water, they were caught by cameras that my unit was in charge of. Not going into too much detail about what happened here, but they were caught. They weren't caught. They were stopped, and they were killed by a combination of airstrike and ground units and Navy ships that were all there, prepared in case something like that would happen. So that's something that we're very proud that our unit was able to do. My second position as a naval officer was in the Central Command Center of the Israeli Navy that was in Tel Aviv, which is where we controlled all of the big Navy operations. So anything to do with submarines, anything to do with operations abroad, like outside of the close Israeli waters, was controlled by that Central Command Center. And I was there for about 1.5 years. And that's it. Then I got out of the Army. Any questions about my military service? I know it's a lot. If you're, I don't know if some of you have invited me, haven't done that yet, but I have a whole lecture about Israeli Navy operations where I go a little bit in depth about how the Navy is built and stuff they did throughout the years. I'm opening the floor now for any questions you might have.
I have a question. It's Pat. Are there any women in the unit that the type of work you were doing in the Navy, or just men?
No, a lot of women.
Okay.
Most of the people in the unit I was in were women. Most of the officers that I worked with were, or not most of the officers, but a lot of the officers were women. A lot of the soldiers that are manning those cameras and radars are women. It was a female soldier that caught those four terrorists coming out of the water. She was the first one to catch them. The Israeli Navy, as I'm sure some of you met Or, who was a shlicha in Rhode Island, was a Via's good friend. She was a Navy officer, a commander of a ship. I met Or in the Army. We both served at the same time, so that's where I knew her from. So it was like a very small world when we met here. But a lot of women are in high-ranking and combat positions in the IDF and in the Navy.
I have a question. How do you choose? Did you choose to be in the Navy, or were you chosen to be in the Navy as opposed to the Army?
So in Israel, it's not. So it is like a separate branch, but it's not that separate like it is in the US. So we have like one IDF where you go into like screening process and they decide where to put you. But it's not like, I decided to go to the Navy and not the Army. The Army, the minute I told the Army I wanted to be in some sort of like combative unit and I wanted to do something that, was influential, where some people will say, I just want to finish with my 3 years and be done with it. I knew that I wanted to do something that I can actually, that I'll feel that I'm actually doing something. And with the skills I showed them, and they decided that the best position for me would have been the Navy. It was like, it's like a 90% their choice, 10% what I prefer kind of thing.
Okay.
And this is Karen, just a comment. Thank you for your service.
Oh, of course. By the way, I'll give you like a thing up to today. So in Israel, when you're done with your military service, almost everyone stays on for reserve duty. It's called Miluim. So up to 2 months ago, before I left, when I was still up for Miluim, and when it was the last operation in Gaza, the what was it called? The one that was just like 6 months ago. I was there in the Central Command Center of the Navy, doing my duty. And the only reason I'm not there now is because I'm here. But when I go back to Israel, I'll resume my reserve duty because that's part of our obligation as citizens.
Was that snow that I saw when you had that mission?
No, it was sand. It was sand dunes.
Ah, okay.
Yes, it's right on the Gaza. There's no snow in that area.
Yeah, it looks like too far south for snow. That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
No, it's the sand dunes of like southern Ashkelon, that whole area.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, we're good. If there are any more questions, speak now or forever hold your tongue. Perfect, or until the next time I stop. Okay, so I'm out of the Army and I kind of had to figure out what am I going to do with my life, because at the age of 21, 22, you really have to understand, like when you're done with your military service, you have to start working. As my mom said, as long as you're in the Army, you can live here, but the minute you're out, you're out. So I discovered FIRST. So I discovered FIRST as a high school student. And some of you may have heard of FIRST. It's an organization that was founded here in New Hampshire. Their headquarters are right here in Manchester, founded by Dean Kamen, which I'm sure most of you heard his name. And it's a nonprofit organization that its main goal is to inspire kids and teens to pursue a career in STEM education. STEM is science, technology, engineering, math. that's the basic background. So I was part of that when I was in high school. We founded a robotics team in my high school. And throughout my military service, I volunteered here and there, helping them with competitions, mentoring a team. But I was I was like involved, but not as involved. And when I finished the military service, Alicia, who is here on the left, who was the director of First in Israel, asked me if I was willing to come on and work as their high school program coordinator. So let me show you a short video about what First is, and then I'll move on to what I did there for the 3 years I was there.
In 1989 by Dean Kamen. As an inventor, he realizes that the way to have the biggest impact is to create a whole generation of new inventors through hands-on, engaging robotics challenges. First ignites passion in STEM for kids ages 6 through 18. There's 4 worldwide programs.
Once you get the challenge, you figure out your game plan.
You make a robot and you code on it.
Throughout each of our programs, teams embrace first core values.
Discovery, innovation,
Impact,
Inclusion.
teamwork.
fun.
At face value, First is a robot competition, but at the end of the day, it's so much more than that. We learn a lot about leadership, how to communicate with others, problem solving,
Working together, helping other teams.
Our mentors teach us not just about STEM, but about life.
I think it's incredibly important for youth to see careers in science and engineering as a possibility for them.
First actually taught me that I'm capable of doing anything that I set my mind to.
There's nothing better than seeing your robot on the field playing for the first time. They're all there like, it's gonna work, and then it works. It's the best feeling ever.
As a participant in the First program in high school, you get access to $80 million worth of scholarships.
There are scholarships for colleges, universities, as well as technical programs.
First really develops a pipeline where there's jobs, there's careers, there's opportunities for every one of these kids based on the skills and the experiences they develop in these programs.
In First, every student can go pro. It's a really cool way to step into your future. I am First. Yo soy First.
I want First.
I am First.
Okay, so that's First, like a 2-minute video trying to explain the past 16 years of my life, more or less. As I said, I was involved in First in high school, kept on going, and then, in 2000 and the summer of 2014, I started working First in Israel. My role was working on the high school program that had, when I started, about 40 high schools involved in Israel. And this is when I humble brag, when I'm like a bit like when I brag about what I did in these 3 years. So when I left, there were over 60 high schools involved, and I'm happy to say the program is growing and growing even today. So most of you know the map of Israel. Each one of these dots, and there are over 1,000 dots on this map, represent a First team in Israel. That's over 10,000 kids involved in First in Israel. Those are amazing numbers if you compare them to even the US, where First started. Israel is, per capita, I think it's one of the top countries or areas in the US, passing like most of the US states. That's just to show you the impact that First has. I decided to put this picture. This is how you spell my name in Arabic. I didn't write it, someone wrote it for me, because just to show you that First really doesn't have any boundaries. This is from an event we did in a Bedouin village, where some people or some kids and families don't even have electricity or running water in their house, but they do have First, because we were able to expose those kids to science, technology, engineering, and math. 10, 15 years from now, maybe those kids will be able to be the leaders of that community, leading them to a more advanced era. And the bottom picture here is me and my mom. I got my mom addicted to First as well. She is running, or now she's now on a year of sabbatical, but up to this year, she was running the high school team in the high school where I went to. She was a teacher there. So when I left high school, she got involved in First under my inspiration, and she got addicted. So she's been leading that team for almost 10 years now. A huge part of First is volunteers, and I just want to emphasize how the organization in Israel has, depending on the year, between 4 and 10 employees, with thousands of volunteers helping run the event. And the volunteers are from 7 and 8-year-olds that, you know, have fun by running around and doing stuff, to professional adults that come and judge the kids and give out the awards. So this is just 2 pictures of volunteers I wanted to share with you. And again, part of my job working for First was to recruit these volunteers and train them and make sure the events ran smoothly. And this picture is outside of the Houston Convention Center. This is a delegation of over 400 Israeli students that competed in Israel, won different awards or different criteria that brought them to compete in the US into the World Championships. And this is where one of the 3 delegations I led to the World Championships in Houston, just to show you the impact that First Israel has. We were 4,000 out of we were like 400 out of 40,000 in those years, because there are about 40,000 people that come to compete in these events. But Israel, even being such a small country with such a small representation, every year is able to win top awards. We have Israeli world champions and top award winners. So we're a proud little country that are showing our Jewish mind, and how the way they say that they're more Jewish Nobel Prize winners than any other per capita and anyone else. So it shows it starts from the young age. But the most important thing I got out of First is a group of friends, and I decided to share some pictures here. My closest friends, even today, are people I met when I was in high school, and they're not all from my high school, but this is a good group of friends that at this point are going to be my friends forever, kind of thing. An example of that is even during COVID, the bottom right picture. We got together every once in a while when each one of us was in our own apartment, not able to leave or not able to meet up, but we met on Zoom, whether it's to celebrate someone's birthday or to just have a happy hour so we're not drinking alone. We're really a really close group. Just last week, one of my good friends got married in Israel. Everyone was there, obviously except for me and another 2 people that are in the US. So we obviously went on Zoom, and we were there through the chuppah, and we were there through the celebration when someone was holding up an iPad, and we were part of that. That's how close in this group we are as friends, and we wouldn't have that without First. Okay, any questions about First? I know that's like a big subject that I just talked about, a big part of my life. So if anyone has any questions, I'm open for them, and then we'll move on.
Yes, do you have any plans to meet with Dean Kamen while you're here in New Hampshire?
I wouldn't mind it. I am planning to meet with people from First who I know and are friends of mine as well. I don't know if I'll meet Dean. Like, if it happens that I meet Dean, I'd love to. He's a great guy, and like I've met him a few times. You might have seen the picture. I've met him a few times. If anyone has like an inn and he wants to host me at his amazing mansion, I'll go there.
And if he invited you to go to space with him sometime, would you go?
I'll have to ask my boss. Allison, can I go to space with Dean?
If you get invited to go to space with Dean, yes, you can absolutely go to space with
So that's it. Yeah, I'm going to
There you
space
go.
with Dean. You heard it here first.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, if there are no more questions about my space exploration, I'll keep on going and I'll talk about the place that really, I don't know if the right word is changed me, but really defined me for the past 4 years. It's de-Haas High School. It's the high school I worked at for the past 4 years running their robotics department, but saying I ran a robotics department really doesn't explain what I did there. So the team was called Makers Assemble. That's every high school team has their own name. I don't know why they chose, like, it's a long story why they chose that name. I inherited it. I joined them on their 3rd year in competition. And I just want to explain to you that first is there are a lot of adults involved at first, as you saw a lot of pictures, but the people who do everything are the kids. I'm going to show you now 2 videos that sum up what a first team is. And I just want you to understand that everything you see from the robot they're building and the project they're doing to the video editing itself is done by kids ages in this these videos are going to be ages 10 to 12, grades 10 to 12. It's all done by them. Oh, before that, sorry. I need to show a little bit of bragging. So this is my team when we went to Detroit for the World Championship in 2019. And then because of our accomplishments in Detroit, where we got to the semifinals and won an award, we were invited to the Chinese off-season. So we went to Shanghai and competed there. And we actually won 1st place in China. So we have like a banner and everything signed up, and it's all in Chinese, so we don't know what it says, but we're assuming it says winner. And here's a short video. Again, all done by kids. Everything you see here.
Everybody needs a little room to make mistakes. You don't have to be so perfect, you can go at your own pace. Just show me the real you so that I can feel you. I promise I won't let you down. Just show me the real you so that I can feel you. I promise I won't let you down. Let me carry you home. Let me carry you home. When you're tired and you're weary and you have no strength to hold, let me carry you home. Let me carry you home. When there's no one to turn to and all you have faith in is God, let me carry you
This is when we won the award, sending us to the Israeli championship.
Everyone deserves a little precious time. Precious time. To stumble till they find a little peace of mind. Just show me the real you so that I can feel you. I promise I won't let you down. Just show me the real you so that I can feel you. I promise I won't let you down.
And this is us finding out we qualified for the World Championship. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I really like watching that video. So as I said, like this team did amazing things, and their robots, we were able to do a really good job with our robot. But a big part of FIRST is not only the robot. Like their big slogan is, "It's not about the robots. We're here to build people, not robots." So a large part of what we did as a team, and what every team does, we're not special with doing this, but I believe we're special with what we're doing, is our amazing community outreach. So our team's motto, our team's slogan was "First for everyone." You can see that here, and you'll watch the video shortly, where we aspired to have to give every kid or every person the opportunity to have access to a FIRST program or to STEM education. We were from a team in Tel Aviv where the social economical status of the kids and the school was very high, but we didn't let that blind us. So we worked with kids or teams from southern Israel, southern Tel Aviv, sorry, where there are a lot of immigrants and low socioeconomic status of the community. We worked with kids with special needs, and you'll hear the stats in the video. I don't remember that, but we were in a large amount of special needs schools and Tel Aviv. We worked with the Arab community, making sure they have access to STEM education, because it was very important for us, the team, to give back. And I'll be honest, we won awards for that because that's part of the game. So this, for example, is a team of kids from a high school in Tel Aviv. Sorry, not a high school, a school in Tel Aviv that have kids that are both on the autistic spectrum and have a hearing disability. So you see they're all doing the sign of "I love you" within sign language. And you can see me on the side here, but half of these kids are my students, and they were the ones leading this team. It's not something I did. It's something that I pushed them to do. They were the one leading the team throughout the year with weekly sessions. Let's watch a short video that shows you the impact that these kids had. This is, again, just 1 year and what they did.
We are Team Makers Assemble 5951 from Tel Aviv, Israel. We're working towards a world where FIRST is accessible to all different communities. 100% of our students take an active part in mentoring FIRST teams, making our vision, FIRST for everyone, a reality. Over the past 5 years, we've grown from a small team to a team that brings together siblings, teachers, parents, and alumni. Or in other words, everyone starts from our school. From 7th to 12th grade, each student has the opportunity to join FIRST. Over 100 students take part in 7 different teams that stand together as one united MA family. Everyone continues to our city. Makers Assemble are working towards making Tel Aviv a robotics empire where everyone has an equal chance for STEM education. We've opened and mentored over 100 teams from 20 different schools in all FIRST programs, representing over 56% of all FIRST teams in Tel Aviv today. Our team's focus is exposing FIRST to children with special needs, making FIRST accessible to over 330 children from 70% of special education schools in Tel Aviv. We even opened the first FDC team for kids with special needs in Israel. In addition, this year we mentored 3 FRC teams in our city. Amongst them is Team 8356, Black Rhinos, a rookie team we opened in southern Tel Aviv. Everyone is the FIRST Israel community, hosting many FIRST events in our school and initiating conferences such as MAC, Fresh, and our open workshop. Using technology, we created the first ever FIRST conference that's all in Arabic. Everyone is also mentors. Our alumni progress at FIRST by continuing to mentor younger teams, initiating the FIRST Mentor Academy, where we train the FRC mentors of tomorrow. Everyone is not only in FIRST. Everyone is obviously everywhere. We aspire to spread our vision worldwide, influencing kids no matter where they're from. starting from Israel, through Maryland and Michigan, all the way to Brazil, even China. We are making firsts for everyone, everywhere. We are Makers Assemble 59. Inspire others, share our passion for STEM. First is in our blood. It's our way of life. We will never stop until we make first for everyone.
Okay, and one last thing, one last minute before I finish this section. A lot of what we did, we weren't able to put in the video because of the sensitivity of the situation, but I wanted to share with you one of the things I'm most proud of. So in this video, you'll see Hani, who is 5. And if you look closely, and you'll be able to see this better soon, she was born without her hand. She has a wrist, but she doesn't have the hand. It's called, I think it's called ABS syndrome. And what we were able to do, working with a nonprofit organization called Haifa 3D, is to 3D print her a hand. And you'll see her now using her hand for the first time, as we designed specially for her. So we asked her, what's your favorite cartoon? What do you like? And she said Minnie Mouse. So you'll see that her hand is white, as black and red. And another one she has is a Hello Kitty hand, which is a pink and white. And she, from becoming the kid that was not confident going to kindergarten because she would get picked at, because, you know, kids don't have that sensitivity yet, she became the coolest kid with a hand no one else had. So I just want to show you this video. And this is her with her Hello Kitty hand. Now, obviously, she won't be able to do push-ups or, you know, play baseball with this hand, but she's able to catch a ball or lift up a cup and drink, or even put gloves on, and no one will know the difference. That's what, like, one of the things I'm most proud of. Okay, any questions about what I did in Tijonet for the past 4 years and what I was doing there? I know that's a lot, and I went into in depth, but feel free to ask any question.
It was fascinating, really, really enlightening. You should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you, Ken. Another thing that we're proud of, and first in general, is that, I don't know if you noticed this, but there were so many girls in the videos. And it's not just because we made sure to put girls in the videos, it's because we had, at 1 year, we had 50% female participants. Most years we were at like the high 30s, mid 40s, which is not ideal, but you know, it's more than what they're represented right now in the industry and as engineers. So we're happy that we're able to push women in STEM, and not only the men, which, you know, it's obvious that men will be in STEM education, but that's part of what we're trying to do. Okay, if there are no more questions, I'll move to the last part, which is, you know, what my favorite part, traveling the world. This is the quote that I don't know who said it. I found it when I was just looking for quotes, but it fits so well. Of all the books in the world, the best stories I found was in the pages of Passport. I love that, so I had to put that in there. My last part, as I said, is I'm going to talk to you a little bit of my travels and where I've been in the world, and just to show you that I don't remember who asked that about my travels in the U.S. So that I've been to the U.S. a few times. So this is where I've been in the world. As you can see, like North America is obviously colored, but I've traveled through most, or not most, but a lot of Europe, China, Cuba, Colombia, Costa Rica, and obviously Israel's there. Show you some pictures from the different places around the world. You can see me as like the next Che Guevara in Cuba or Denmark or Barcelona. I love traveling, and I love going different places with different people, or even traveling by myself. Cuba, for example, was an amazing challenge because I was there for 10 days by myself without like a cell phone, because there's no internet there, without any Spanish, and nothing was planned. So I just went where Cuba took me, and that was fun. Other places I have different experience, but I love, as I said, I love traveling. And this is my US adventures. So some of you will recognize, like, the famous places that are in the pictures, but for like Crater Lake or the Arch in St. Louis, DC, Florida, San Francisco. And obviously, if you're down in Alabama, that's the one thing you can do is shoot guns. So that's what we did there. And these are the states I've been to so far. I'm halfway there. I have a challenge for these next couple of years to complete the puzzle. If anyone has, a place for me to stay somewhere, just let me know and I'll fly out there and tour that state. Because, as I said, I love traveling. I love driving. Most of these, the states I've been to were on road trips that I did with either by myself or with friends, because I think one of the best ways to get to know a state or a country is not by landing at their big city that has an airport and just staying there. It's traveling around the state, traveling around the area, and really discovering or really finding out how they live there. And that brings me to here. So this was my 26th state, because this is my first time in New Hampshire. And so you might ask, so why did I leave? What brought me to become a shaliach here? And so basically last year when COVID hit, everything shut down. I'm what you would call like a workaholic, where the past 4 years are like one big blur of working all the time. And when COVID hit and everything shut down, I had to really like figure out, okay, what's my next step? I like working for the high school. I love being there, but I felt that I needed something new. I needed a new challenge. So one of my big dreams was to live abroad and work abroad or something outside of Israel for a period of time. So I realized that, as I said, I'm 30. If I don't do this now, I don't know when I'll do this. Like, I don't see a better opportunity. So I took this year or the past year to research and find out the different options I had. And that brought me to the Jewish Agency. And it was a complete coincidence. They brought me to where FIRST was founded in New Hampshire. And it's all that, like all the stars aligned for me to come here. And I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be with you for the next couple of years. We have one question in the chat. Oh, Stacy asked, did I drive or climb Mount Washington? I'll let you guess. But no, I completely drove up. It was one of mine and Avia's last things we did together. We drove up to Mount Washington. Amazing view, amazing like drive. Some people told us that we should be scared driving up because it's a dangerous drive, but we felt very confident. We had a great time up there. That's it. That's me. I'd love to answer any questions you have. I'm completely open to any question, and we can always get to in-depth stuff afterwards.
Hi, Ron.
Hey.
This is Evelyn, and I was part of the interview session that we had with Allison and Ra'anan, and I think you can see why we were so incredibly excited about him. I really look forward to 2 incredible years with you. I know everybody is excited having watched this hour with you. So, and we're going to be getting together this week, doing a lot of planning, and I can see some areas where we need to talk about, things that we need to be supportive of you and what your ideas are beyond what I was thinking about. But I'm really, really excited, and I want you all to know this was a real coup that we got Ra'anan. I think he was highly sought after by other places too. So we're very excited about this.
Thank you, Ev.
Ra'anan, will you stop sharing your screen so that it's easier? I can help you.
Yeah.
Thank goodness you hadn't been to New Hampshire yet.
I know, I would have picked somewhere else. No, I'm joking.
Ra'anan,
Yes, Judith.
I have to say to the group that it has been my pleasure to have Ra'anan in my home for dinner. We've had a wonderful time, a relaxed atmosphere, and we just love it. Every time he comes, we learn something different. And Ra'anan loves to cook. He made our dessert the last time he came, and we loved it. And please take the opportunity, everyone, to have into your home for dinner, for Shabbat or anything. He's just an amazing person, as you just saw, and loads of fun to be with, and just a true gentleman all the way around. So as Evelyn said, we are so lucky to have Ra'anan, and I don't ever pronounce it right, but that's okay, he said. And please take the pleasure for yourself and your family and the kids at Hebrew school, or your friends. Even your friends would love to see something like this and have him in your home. I want to go with him to first at Dean Kamen. I'm dying to go there. So I kind of said to Ra'anan that, when you go, I want to go. So I look forward to many more times with you and your family if they come over, and just having a wonderful 2 years of you being in our home. So thank you.
Thank you, Judith. Okay, so if there are no more questions.
So how do you get to him? How does one go about inviting you? Do you have a
Yeah, so I'll put my contact information in the chat now. My email, first of all, it's the same as if you had a Viaz cell phone, so it's the same cell phone. The email is a bit different, but if you don't have
if you type it in, it will still get to you.
Yeah, if you type Avia's email, it will still get to me.
I'd have to look for it.
And this is my email and cell phone. You feel free to write it down. Feel free to text, call, WhatsApp, mail, or courier pigeon me to the Federation, or just drop by the Federation and just to say hi. I'm excited to get to know. Well, some of you I already met. Some of you this is my first time meeting, and I'm excited. If any of you are from Bethlehem, then I'm going to be there for the weekend. So that we'll meet for that weekend, and anywhere else, I'll be there hopefully soon.
Oh, we're so lucky to have you. I can't wait to sign our kids up. I'm going to do it as soon as I hang up from you.
This was the push you needed, hearing about me?
No, I heard about you before. I was excited before, but now I'm super excited. And now I also have some more information that informs me, which is important.
Perfect.
I would also like to say, if for any reason you can't get through all of those ways that Ra'anan had said, you can call the Federation and ask them, leave a note, and then for sure that they will connect with Ra'anan.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure that you get through.
There are many ways to reach me. All roads lead to hosting me for dinner or any activity.
Are you planning to go to all the different Hebrew schools?
Yes, I'm just in the process of having all the Hebrew school administrators sign up. And I'm going to be at each Hebrew school 3 times throughout the year, delivering a program that I'm building. And again, if there's any other like big events that your community is hosting, whether it's like the Hebrew school or anything else, please invite me. I'd love to come to those things to get to know more of the community, because my day-to-day is going to be, most of the time I'm interacting with the leaders of the community. I want to talk to the kids. I want to talk to the parents. I want to really get to know everyone in the community. So if there's anything happening, I want to be there.
Are you familiar with BattleBots?
Yes.
Okay. We have that on TV.
They just finished their next season. It was just filmed in Vegas. Okay, so I think we're done. Pat, you wanted to say something, or you were waving goodbye? Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
That was great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and Yasher Koach for all you've done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Shana Tova, everyone.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.